This is the third in a series of tutorial videos about the Canard Question Module Editor and the Structured Questionnaire Building Language. In the last two videos we covered how to create basic questions in Squabble using the Canard editor. And now we're going to take a first look at how to string questions together in the context of a question module. In general, when completing a questionnaire, all questions will be processed from top to bottom. However, there are cases where we want respondents to skip certain questions that may not be applicable to them. For this example, we're going to look at the survey on the right that consists of three questions. Did you drive a car? Do you think petrol costs too much? And why do you not drive? From the context of these three questions, it's easy to see that the second question is really only applicable to people who do drive, while the third is only applicable to people who do not. However, when we skip over to the flowchart view, we can see that all three questions will be encountered in order before we get to the end. What this means is that respondents will be asked to give too much information, so we need to introduce some structure so that doesn't happen. And we do that by introducing this conditional tree. We can drag a conditional tree up between any questions or any object within a question module, and we can start adding this logic in. The first thing we'll need to do is identify the different branches of our tree who we're trying to target. And we're going to do that by adding two new branches. The first for people who do drive, and the second for people who do not drive. These two branches will give us the ability to start splitting our populations up. Now at the moment, we can expand this out and see that there are no objects under each of these branches, so again our logic stays the same. All three questions will be answered by everyone. What we can do instead, however, is we can drag our petrol cost question up until the does drive branch and the why does not drive into the does not drive branch. Now when we refresh the form, questions 2 and 3 become grayed out. Now this is because we haven't introduced any conditions under which these questions are actually applicable yet. So we'll do that by going to the tree and editing the sequence guide. The sequence guide allows us to create a decision table that helps us to determine when specific branches will be activated. We can do this by dragging a question across and then dragging a corresponding branch. For this, we'll start looking at the does drive branch. And we know that this will only be applicable when the does drive car question is equal to yes, or in the code, y. What we can then do is we can add our does not drive branch, scroll across, and we know that this will only be applicable when the does not drive question is no. Refreshing our form, we can see that nothing has changed. However, if we click yes, that you do drive, question 2 becomes available. And if we click no, only question 3 is available. We can confirm this when we go across to the flowchart, and we can start seeing the logic come together. When does drive is yes, only petrol cost is available. When does drive is no, only why not drive is available. And under all other conditions we'll skip to the end. However, there are no other conditions, so this branch will never be activated. And we can see that we've started to introduce some logic so that our form now contains a little bit more smarts. What we can then do is we can add additional conditional trees up under each individual branch to start introducing more heavy logic, and that'll be the subject of the next video. Thank you for watching.